Hi, this is Ed, and welcome to Global Business News TV. This show is all about property, and this one is called Curzon Comments. That's Curzon, and that's CurzonCentral.com. And the owner and our guest speaker today is coming on. His name is James Moss. He's a Brit, uh, now an American citizen, and living in Manhattan, and very, very active in property business in London and New York. And he's going to be talking about what's happening. And we'll be right back with James Moss. And we'll tell you all about this background that you're looking at. So stay tuned. Thank you. Okay, we're back, and with us is James Moss, who's the founder and CEO of Curzon Central, as you can see there, and this show is called Curzon Comments, and this is I think number 9 in the series, and it's all about property, property management, property pricing, and things like that, and the role of relocation, of course, comes into it. It's about investing and it's about servicing. And we have an expert, longtime property aficionado in London and now living in New York and an American citizen. Welcome, James Moss.
Hey, thank you very much, Ed, and thanks for that terrific introduction. Spot on.
You bet, you bet. Been thinking about, well, how do I do this? And then I don't script anything, although maybe I should. But so far so good.
So far,
So
so good.
So, James, congratulations on your becoming a what is it, a citizen, right?
Yeah, a full blown on American citizen. I'm absolutely delighted. Went through the naturalization process, which is quite a journey actually to go through. And yes, on Friday I got sworn in, or I swore myself in, I guess, with the judge, and it was great. So I am now a dual citizen, actually, Ed. So
And
I'm very privileged and proud to be an American, and living here and working here and so on. And I am also, an Englishman uh,
for
with a
sure.
British passport and my great love for London and the UK. So I feel privileged to, I use that word again deliberately, to have a foot in both camps.
Yeah, that's great.
And everyone's an ally, which is even better. So yeah, it's just fantastic. It's great.
Yeah, that's great. So the picture that people are looking at here, this is taken from our deck, and that's on the championship course of the Palm Valley Country Club. Palm Valley Country Club is located in Palm Desert, California, and that's within a region called Coachella Valley, which is headlined by Palm Springs. And Palm Springs is a city nestled at the foot of that big mountain behind us.
Oh,
That
yeah.
mountain is called Idlewild, and the top there is a little over 10,000 feet.
That's very high.
And the desert where we are, Palm Desert and Palm Springs area, is just below sea level. So they
Oh,
call it the low desert, and it's a very high mountain. And this picture was taken during the recent winter, February, I believe, early March. And up top there at 10,000 plus feet, it's below freezing and darn cold. And
yeah.
down in the valley here, it would be at that time of year about 80
Ah,
Fahrenheit 80.
it's amazing.
Yeah,
It's absolutely amazing.
yeah.
That's a long steep climb, by the way. I mean, to
That,
go from sub sea level to over 10,000 feet, that is massive. I mean, that's
yeah,
really
and there's a gondola that is a very popular tourist attraction
yeah,
year round. And it
yeah.
goes right up the top. It's not fancy, but it's fun. There's a cafeteria and a bar up top there, and you can look down on the sand in the valley below. It's
I,
really
I,
massively spread out. It's a large area, and you can't see it in this photo, but to the right, looking at the mountain, to the right of that, there's a valley. It's um, on the desert floor, and it's called Interstate 10, which goes from California, from LA, all the way to Jacksonville, Florida, all across the country, and it passes right through here. From here, it's a 2-hour drive into um, LAX, which is right on the Pacific.
it's
From-
it's
eh,
am- it's amazing how, in a way, how close everything is, sort of, on the west coast to each other. In that sense, as you mentioned, but equally, that's a massive drive
It's two
from
hours.
California.
It's
Well,
100
going
miles. Yeah.
going to Jacksonville, going to
Oh,
Florida.
yes. Yeah. Oh, that'll take
I
uh,
mean, days.
two,
I'd imagine.
3 or 4 days. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It's a long drive. It's as a matter of fact, today, which is May 21, 2025, Joanne and I are going to get in the car here in downtown San Diego, which is right on the Baja Mexican border along the Pacific, and we're going to jump on I-8, Interstate 8, which hugs the Mexican border, and we're going to go all the way across the California desert today into Yuma, Arizona, and then stop for a lunch. It takes about 3 hours from here to there, about 150, 180 miles,
yeah.
something like that. And then there's another 150 miles to Phoenix, Arizona,
Yeah.
and where we have two investment properties we're going to go visit today, stay for a couple of days,
Wow.
and then meet up with a friend and also a client and a relative, uh, press the flesh, and hang out in Phoenix. And then on Saturday coming up, it's Wednesday today, we're going to get back in the car and reverse, drive all the way back into San Diego because the outdoor concert series in Coronado, which is just across the bridge from downtown San Diego, starts its summer season every Sunday night. Outdoor concerts and some jazz bands. Coronado is, for those of you who don't know, is the headquarters for the U.S. Pacific Fleet. The U.S. Navy is a huge presence here, and they have a naval air station right across the bay from where I'm actually sitting today, not in the desert, but in downtown San Diego. And San Diego Bay has a naval station and naval shipbuilding right down the street from where I am, a couple of miles. In between there and here is the tourist district in downtown San Diego, which has the convention center, the gas lamp, restaurant and bars area, and high-rise condos and high-rise hotels, Marriott, Hilton, Hyatt.
Wow. It sounds like an amazing trip you've got ahead of you in a few days,
Yeah,
and
we're
to
on the move.
yeah, and then to end up at a jazz festival. I mean, I think it's great.
Yeah, it will be interesting. So we're going to go from 100-degree heat
Uh,
in Phoenix, that'll be the high temperature, At night, this time of year, it cools off into like 70 or so, and then heats up fast during the day. So we're going there in Coronado this time of year. It will struggle to hit 70.
Yeah.
So you got to bring change of clothing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
enough of the weather forecast. Uh,
But it's brilliant. I mean, I find here, on the East Coast, of course. But I've spent quite a bit of time over on the West Coast over the last sort of 6 months or so. And you always need to keep a fleece or something with you. Nothing too heavy, but it changes. The temperatures shift around so quickly. So one moment you're sort of in summer gear and you're you got your shades on and you're
right.
putting you the shorts and you're having a great time. And the next moment you're sort of, I wouldn't say you're freezing, but your body temperature is really dropping. You need those fleeces
Well,
and stuff.
basically, you go from
There we
summer
go.
summertime
We should
to
we, we should continue. I think we should
Christmas time.
continue like this.
I
My
know.
my
It's
screen
cool.
has my screen has gone completely blank.
Yeah, all right, we'll get back to reality
Let's
here.
go back to reality.
So this house that portrayed in right now is in Palm Desert, California, within the Palm Valley Country Club. I'm choking.
Oops.
No, I have.
Oh dear.
Well, all the
Yeah,
talk
no,
shows I've
okay.
done, I've never coughed. Okay, survive. Yeah,
It's all the heat.
yeah, getting excited. So this
Yeah.
is so this is a condo. It's a home on the golf course. Oh, and it's available for rent. And
Good.
if anyone's interested, just send me an email, and I'll be glad to connect you to the website. You get a tour of the place. It's a really beautiful place. In fact, it's a villa, and it's really a prized possession.
Sounds
So,
lovely.
pardon me.
Sounds
Uh,
lovely. I hope I will find an excuse or the time to come over, Ed. I'd be delighted to
oh yeah. Well,
take
next
you
time
up
you're
on your
in
your offer. Your
yeah, the right time of
that's
year,
yeah.
it'll be available. Uh, anyway, the country club has 43 swimming pools scattered around. It's quite a large place, the country
43.
club. Yeah, there's over 1,100 homes within
Wow,
within the
massive.
property. Yeah, it's massive. Yeah, it's big. And just down the street, excuse me, about a mile and a half, Disney Corporation has purchased a huge amount of acreage, and they've just begun construction on a Disneyland. Not necessarily an amusement park, but it will have a man-made lake with beach, and you can swim, of course, and uh, single-family homes scattered all around the property,
Oh,
starting in just over 1 million and up from there. And there'll be shopping, entertainment facility as well, concerts and restaurants and walking paths. And in the middle of the summer, it's really darn hot. But
yeah.
any other time of the year is just wonderful views, as you could see in the background here. And it's quite a nice area. Um, and it's just about a mile from where this
It,
property is.
it sounds brilliant and great location.
Yeah.
And Disney will get do it really well, and
Oh
sure,
yeah.
sure they'll balance it out.
World class. So they're just beginning construction now. They've had the property. Uh, it was in the Disney Walt Disney's estate for years, but just now they've decided to splurge and build it up. It's part of Coachella Valley, which is the general region here. Economic boom that's going on right now.
Mhm.
Um, there's always been country clubs scattered around the valley, uh, quite upscale, but now what's happening is California State University system, which is quite a large uh, statewide system of higher education. They're they bought acreage out by I-10, and they're building a campus from scratch. And
Uh,
along adjacent to that campus that's being built now are housing developments going on, single family homes and multi-family living. Um, and for sale, the pricing is under 500,000 and
oh,
closer to 300,000, which is absolutely unheard of in Southern
yeah,
California.
yeah.
And this is ground zero for that new demographic push and investment into lower cost housing. And this area, which is maybe a mile or two from where I'm portrayed right now, but it's out by I-10, which is a busy street, that's for sure. And so it's lower cost housing, lower cost area. And there's no place else in Southern California with the quality and the amenities and the weather that this price is being offered in new construction right now. And the rentals are moderately priced as well on purpose because there's no place for young people who are, and anybody uh, who can, who wants to buy or live in a nice area, uh, no place anywhere in Southern California at that pricing level with all the amenities. And so the economic boom is going on right now in this area. And it's fascinating. So, James, tell us what's going on now. Um, Recently in the news, I read that post-Brexit, uh, UK and EU have come to agreements to ameliorate some of the drastic things that happened post-Brexit. Uh, and this is a good thing, right?
You're absolutely right. It is a big step in the right direction, and the you need to bear in mind that the EU is the UK's largest trading partner.
Ah,
It accounts for 40, last time I read, 48% of GDP was done with the EU. Even post Brexit, interestingly enough, it bounced right back. But you had all the red tape, and you had all sorts of other issues: the labor issue, the travel issues, the fishing issues. Um, and fishing's quite an interesting one because fishing. This is fishing the North Sea, and this is EU countries coming to fish in the North Sea, particularly the Spanish and the French. And the North Sea, sort of a large chunk of that is British territorial waters. Okay. Um, the fishing industry in the UK is a very, very small percentage of the economy. I mean, it really is very, very small. But of course, in political terms, it's an absolute hot potato. And it's like the fishing industry that you see in some parts of the states. So if you think of Maine, for example, just taking something at random, they're big fishermen up there, and it's a significant part of the local economy, but it's not a particular major part of the American economy. Um, so what has happened here is basically the fishing industry has been sacrificed. It is the thing that's been given away. It's the thing that the Europeans, the French in particular, introduced it at the very last moment as the deal breaker, which they always do, by the way. And but it's just a fact. And Keir Starmer said, okay, fine. So the original deal was that the EU would have access for 4 years. Okay. And at the last moment, it changed to 12 years open access to North Sea. So that's, you could say, the downside. The upside is so much bigger. Um, the devil is still somewhat in the detail. Okay. But in terms of a lot of the red tape's just going to disappear overnight. So if you're shipping whiskey to the EU, all of a sudden, all that red tape sort of disappeared, gone. The other thing is if you're Brit and you're traveling to an EU country, you probably don't have to wait in a long line anymore. You just put your sort of passport on the E machine and walk straight in. Um, the other thing that they're doing, and again, they haven't confirmed details yet, but they're going to allow students and young people to start traveling into the UK and from the UK into the EU, which is a really good thing. Those who were Brexiteers, who basically said we want to leave the EU, see this as surrender, because one of the big things with the EU was the mobility of labor, of people across the European Union, which of course included the UK in those days. So this is a really interesting development. I think I can't remember the ages. I think it's like 18 to 30 or 21 to 30. And Europeans will be able to come over in that age group and travel and study and probably be able to work, I would imagine, sort of do coffee shops and stuff like that and be earn a bit of money. So it's a really significant step forward.
So that's how
Um,
it was before Brexit.
it's not quite how it was before Brexit, but it's
Mm.
certainly moving very much in that direction. I personally think it's a good thing. I think Brexit was a disaster. I think it could have been a great success, but it wasn't. And and I think this is one of the first very positive steps with the EU that we're seeing to not necessarily go back to how it was, but how to move it forward in a very positive and economically productive and socially and culturally acceptable role for both sides. So I think it's very important. I think it's good news. Yes.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So you have a couple of slides to show?
Yeah, I do. Let me see what I can find. I thought what we do, Ed, is have a look. So we talk about the EU a little bit about relocation, and just sort of see what's going on in the world of relocation
Good.
generally, what the trends are, and have a look at our two main markets, which are New York and London. So bear with me a second.
Okay.
Um, Let me find the slide and let's take a look and see what we can see. Okay, so hopefully you can see a screen.
Yes, I see it
Uh,
now. I see
yeah,
the back of a woman.
okay. So what we're doing here is we're having as mentioned, we're looking at corporate relocation trends in London, New York, and globally. I thought we'd start off with just having a quick canter through what's happening in the world of hybrid work, okay, globally. This isn't in any specific country. And we're seeing some very interesting trends. As we all know, post COVID, working from home, hybrid working really took off. What we're now beginning to see is pushback. We're seeing more companies in certain industries, not all industries, sort of saying, you know what, we actually want to see you back in the office. Now, it doesn't work for every industry. Um, I mean, industries where it works quite well is things like banking, um, law, a little bit, although a lot of lawyers work independently. But we're seeing in the professions, um, and we're seeing in the world of technology, which is quite interesting. If you think of sort of Elon Musk, for example, who wants to encourage people back into the office for the culture and so forth. So what I think we're beginning to see is a rebalancing. It doesn't mean hybrid working is going to disappear. I don't think it will disappear for one moment. In fact, I think hybrid working is very positive and a very good thing. And some great industries are growing up around them. But we are going to start seeing this rebalancing, and we can already see it happening through certain cities and so on that we're going to have a look at in a moment. Um, the other thing which is interesting is um, not just to get people back to the office so much, but um, a lot of organizations are now looking at the way that they can look at cost and talent and find the best mix, if you like, matrices to create very favorable business climates to attract and keep the talent that they have. And this includes things like tax. It also it includes considerations like where should people work from? Where should the offices be based? And again, there's a rethink about, post-COVID, here we are 5 years later, about the whole working talent experience. And you've got to bear in mind, in 2019, millennials became the largest generational workforce in the world. Okay. We now have Generation Z coming in. We have a lot of young people coming into the workforce, and their needs and aspirations are different. The way they communicate is different. The way they use technology is different. And companies are now really, I wouldn't say waking up. I think they've woken up to it a long time ago, but I think they're really getting their heads around it now. Um, and I think it's a really important part of how they're looking at the employee experience and engagement. So
Interesting, isn't it? I was just listening and watching a video with Jamie Dimon, who's CEO of
yes,
JP
yes,
Morgan Chase, and he's a big fan of back to the office.
yeah,
You can't be promoted as much. You can't learn as much sticking to remote all the time, virtual. You must be part of the population in the company,
yeah.
and let us see you and you see us. And it has to be that way.
Yeah, he's been a big promoter of this for a long time. He's one of the leading advocates of it, actually. And a lot of companies are beginning to think like that. They want the sort of the water cooler experience to start coming back. So people start collaborating again physically. But what they're also looking to do, the companies, is they're looking to change their environments to make them much more dynamic, much less static. Think of co-working companies. I mean, go back, to WeWork, for example. And Curzon, we work with a number of different co-working companies, and their models are totally different from the days when I used to work in an office. But the sort of the ping pong tables, the pool tables, the whole atmosphere is so much more conducive to lifestyle and to the way people communicate, of course, which is really important with technology. And it's much more free flowing, and we're seeing a lot more of that as well. And I think it's really an interesting change that's beginning to take place. So my next slide is having a look at New York. Um, the reason I've chosen New York and London is that Curzon are based in New York and London. So we sort of see these pretty close up. Our relocation side actually works in over 25 countries, but New York and London are really great. Singapore is sort of similar, and then you get other cities that are doing their own thing. But this is the trend. So looking at New York, one of the really interesting things that's going on in New York at the moment is the tech market is booming. And there is this huge demand for really good quality tech workers. These are, coders and integrators and all sorts of, it's just a massive, massive sector at the moment. So as you can see in 2025, 95% of leaders, companies, are struggling to find skilled workers. New York is, I think it's number two. It's not quite number one, but it's number two to Silicon Valley in technology in the United States. So going back to the office, which is the other thing that's quite interesting, we're all familiar with Hudson Yards. And Hudson Yards is an incredible development down in the 30s on the lower or mid of the west side. It's over 1 billion square feet of residential and office space built and developed by the Related company over the old rail yards. Okay. And it's sort of,
So does that mean it was built on a platform, not into the ground?
well, it's actually built into the ground, but it's through through the rail yards, if you're with me. So it's really complicated construction. The bottom line is that the buildings are held up in the ground, and they've got the railways running underneath them and so on. I mean, the basements of these places are so massive, and it's we recall everyone will recall from the tragedy of 9/11 is how deep the basements were. And that's true of most tall buildings. I mean, it's a bit like a tree. You sort of think, oh, the tree just doesn't stand there. It has roots that go underneath. These buildings go really deep. They go really, really deep.
Yeah, into the bedrock, not just dirt.
That's right.
I mean,
Exactly.
they have
Exactly.
to have that firm foundation.
Yes, exactly. Exactly that. Well, what is fascinating about Hudson Yards is this huge percentage of offices there. 90% of that office space is now occupied by early 2024. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. And the companies there include BlackRock and Meta and Deloitte and so on. But the thing is the buildings were built and designed with uh, with the type of workers who are going to be working there. So these are full of natural light. They're beautifully designed inside. They flow. The furniture is great. It's a whole sort of ecosystem that we were talking about earlier on. These are not static offices with cubicles and chairs and stuff like that. I mean, all those days are long gone. At least in terms of new office space. And the way new office space is created is critical to the equation. There's actually a lot of vacant office space in New York City, in Manhattan, but most of it is secondary. It's old-fashioned stuff, and new companies really aren't very interested in that.
So we have about 10 minutes remaining here today, a really tight schedule. And this is really fascinating information. So companies are relocating people into Manhattan.
Yeah,
Is that right? Yeah.
yeah, and this means that the demand for rental properties is going to go up. The supply is not great. Rents are going to go up, and we're going to start getting into this whole upward spiraling syndrome. We are going to be seeing bidding wars taking place on rentals. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Um, so let's have a look at London. Let's ping over to London and see what's happening there. And in London, we've got a similar situation. Um, we've got the return to the City of London, which we chatted about last time, which is the old City of London with ultra new high tech buildings and so on and so forth. And there's been a huge move from Canary Wharf, which was sort of 12 minutes or a few miles to the east, back to the City of London. And again, it's a similar story that we're seeing in New York with the return to the office. There is that high end premium grade A offices are letting. Okay. Um, and this is, this is a major trend that's now beginning to take place. The other interesting thing is the emphasis on innovation districts within London. So the King's Cross area, for example, has a lot of education there. King's Cross, St Pancras, and so on, university campuses, and so on.
The St. Pancras rail station, is the Euro train that
That's
goes
right.
over to Paris
Ex
and over
ex
to Amsterdam.
exactly. So
Yeah.
it's a communications hub. You also have the Elizabeth line used to be Crossrail, which connects the city and the country and so on. I mean, it's just phenomenal the way it's taken off. The picture here is actually of King's Cross, and just get a feel for the style of the architecture and so on. This was
And the
built,
size, the
built
scope is
yeah,
huge.
yeah, and the whole area has just been transformed. It's absolutely extraordinary,
Yeah.
and it's great.
We have
Um,
about 5 minutes remaining here, James, and this is really an interesting conversation. I really enjoy this, learning so much. Thank you.
well, I'll just touch upon the other things happening is that most companies do actually like to stay in London because younger people like the buzz of London and so on and so forth. But communications have become much better across the country in terms of the Crossrail, the Elizabeth line, and so on. So you're seeing more companies looking to expand to the regions, particularly going east and going west. And again, the rents are lower, the work-life balance is considered to be better, and so on. So anyway, so these are the trends that we're seeing. So I just wanted to share them with you and our audience.
It's beautiful
Um,
pictures. Great. That's great. And so tell us about Curzon Central in the remaining minutes here, about what you're doing.
yeah, well, Curzon Central is really getting pretty active in both London and New York. I'm delighted to say. We've actually recently just changed our website, so you now have London, New York, and relocation. Okay, so we deal with our three markets: in New York and in London. We provide our full range of property services, which includes now property management, full property management for private clients. It also includes project management, where we go in and we remodel for people their apartments and stuff like that, and we manage all of that type of thing. Our relocation markets continue to expand I'm delighted to say, with new clients who are looking for, cost efficient, mobile, easy to use solutions. So all good in that department, and I'm hoping we're going to be a very good season ahead.
So we're joined here, and it's I'm very happy to make this introduction. Haley, meet James. This is James Moss in New York, and this
Hi,
is
Haley.
Haley. She is in Texas,
Oh,
and she's going to be the featured person in our next show, which is going to start, and we're going to be joined by a few other people as well. So we're going to have to switch out of this show and re-enter into the other web link, Zoom link. But I wanted to bring you in rather than ignore you. I can't do that. Haley and I have known each other a number of years through different companies and things. So, James, I thank you very much for being my guest here, and I'm very happy to make this introduction. So, Haley, we're going to end this first show, and then
Okay.
I'm going to click and re-enter the studio, and I'd like to ask you to do that also, so we have
Uh,
a strong link.
will
A-
do.
And and
Nice
and we'll
meeting you, James.
and we'll be joined by a few other people. So
and let me just say, I'm a big fan of Texas, Haley. So it's really great to
Yay!
be.
Other than the summer when it's really, really hot.
I
Okay,
know.
Yeah.
see you shortly.
Okay, great.
Bye-bye.
James, thanks very much for being on the
I'll
show.
sign off.
Apologies for the rush, but I didn't want to not introduce you guys because Haley is from San Francisco area and now living in Texas for
Ah,
several
okay,
years.
great.
She's a very senior in a company called Carbon Free,
Oh,
and she's involved in HR. And so this next show, which you're certainly welcome to tune in on, uh, I'll send you the link if you want to come back on and join the
well, I
conversation.
don't. I'm unfortunately I can't join you, but I certainly look forward to seeing the show
Great.
later on. It's lovely meeting Haley,
Yeah.
and thank you for a terrific show. I much appreciate
Thank you. I apologize for the coughing. On
it.
live TV, I was coughing. Crazy. It's really good information about London and about New York. Thank you.
Right. Okay, my pleasure. All the
Bye
best. Take care.
bye. Thanks.
Bye.